have that authority. Huh? No, he won't object because he won't be mobile. He's in Tampa, so.
Okay, take a seat. Becky, David, we're gonna have David's gonna touch city today. David's Wow, we have more proxies than actual members today, basically. Okay, he's in the building.
Well, there's 6 listed for staff comments. Well, yeah, probably 1 or 2 city, a couple from the so who you represent?
David Arneal.
For which agency?
We're with South Central Regional Transit.
Oh, okay.
It's at the last minute. We did this last year too.
Actually, so she actually sent me a message yesterday afternoon wanting to know if I would cover this at 4 o'clock today.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I said, okay. I said, I don't mind covering. She did it to me with the city MPO meeting once. And she told me, she sent me an email, didn't even send me call me, send me an email. So I didn't see it until like 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I said, well, yeah, I guess I could do that.
Still your seat?
No, not at all.
Is there anything I need to vote on? Anything I need to do? Anything coming up? She said, all of
Madam Chair, it is after 4 o'clock, and I do believe we have quorum.
Okay, thank you. It is a little after 4 o'clock. It's 4:03, and I am calling the meeting to order. I guess the second item is the approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda, Rod McGilvery.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Rene Molina.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Motion passes. The next item is approval of the minutes for April 6, 2023. Does anyone have any questions or changes on the minutes? If not, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve, Rene Molina.
Second, Harold Love.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. We are on item number 4, public comment. I don't think I see anybody here to comment, so we will move on to action items. 5.1, the 4-year 2022 through 2027 Transportation Improvement Program amendments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dominic Lawyer for MPO staff. I will be presenting this. Should be just a minute. It looks like they're getting up. So it is that time of year again. We have the Transportation Improvement Program for amendments. So we have a few amendments this time. First, we have LC 00371. This is for federal fiscal years 2023 and 2024. This is an NMDOT-led project. This is for bridge replacement from mile marker 139 to mile marker 140. This is basically to move this from federal fiscal year 23 to federal fiscal year 24 and increase the highway bridge infrastructure. by $5,887,184. For the total project will be $7,700,000, or yes, $700,000. I need to correct that slide. There's a missing zero. And this will positively affect the state of good repair, which are performance measure 2. We also have LC 00290. So this is going to be a long one because a lot of changes have been made to it. So this is for federal fiscal years 2023 and 2024. For NMDOT, this is for the University Avenue Multimodal Project. It's for multimodal roadway improvements from NM 28 to NM 478, also known as Avenida de Mesilla and Main Street. So we have on this one for federal fiscal year 23, we're adding new funds. These are the highway safety funds for vulnerable road users for $4,421,429. We have more CRP funds for $1,515,654. We have STGB funds for small urban areas for $6,106,962. And then we have NHPP funds for $5,004,641. And then we have for federal fiscal year 2024, we have STFP funds for $2,578,562. We have the CQX funds for air quality for $2,907,839. Then we also have for construction engineering, TP funds for $350,000. And then for utilities in federal fiscal year 23, we have STBGS funds for $80,000. This project will positively affect safety targets with performance measure 1 and the state of good repair performance measure 2. We have LC 00500, which is for federal fiscal year 2023, which is for Las Cruces Public Schools. This is for the SRTS program. So this is an additional funding to them for $350,000 for a project total of $537,016. This project will positively affect performance measure 1, safety targets. We have LC 00510 for federal fiscal year 2023. Again, Las Cruces Public Schools for SRTS. This is a new project and a new award. They were awarded in SRTS funds $317,343. Again, positively affecting performance measure 1, safety targets. And lastly, we have LC 00390. This one was for Doña Ana County for 2023. This is for the Elks Drive multi-use path from Columbia Elementary to Doña Ana School Road. It's a multi-use path along Elks Drive. This is new funding category, SRTS funds for $494,635 for a project total of $2,091,712. This project will positively affect performance measure 1, safety targets. BPAC recommended approval at their last meeting. MPO staff is requesting TAC recommend approval of this series of TIP amendments. I'll now stand for any comments or questions.
Does anyone have questions? No. Okay, if not, can I have a motion to approve?
So move, Harold Webb.
Is there a second?
I'll second Rod McGilvery.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And we are now on 5.2, prioritization of the Transportation Project Fund project applications.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dominic Loy for MPO staff again. The Transportation Project Fund has now was closed at the end of March. We are now basically finishing up this process. So there are 3 projects, one from the city of Las Cruces, one from the town of Mesilla, one from Doña Ana County. The projects are being presented in the order that they were received. The total amount available from the state is between 50 and $60 million is what we've been told. So first up will be the City of Las Cruces, and Mr. Tony Trevino will be presenting that.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to request that all applicants limit their presentations to 15 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Tony Trevino, Assistant Director of Public Works, City of Las Cruces. Here today, I'm here to present the City of Las Cruces application for the TPF grant. We did present a week or two ago to the BPAC with this project. However, after some meetings with NMDOT and some recommendations, the scope was adjusted, revised due to the amount of work that was there and also due to the amount of available funding for this grant. So we got back with the consultant, modified our application, and the scope and the price was adjusted. So this is going to be those changes. So the project summary, what the project is going to be looking for is Appa Sale from University on the south end all the way to its intersection with South Main, and then also include Alameda from South Main to Amador. This is that long corridor. What we're going to be doing is a reconstruction for what we call a complete street. It's going to be for ADA improvements, pedestrian and bicycle accessibility, roadway signage, striping, multi-use path, and the total gamut of a complete street from lighting, signage, and striping and everything. So next slide. So here's the vicinity map of what I mentioned here. On the very top, on the north side, is where it crosses Main Street, Alameda from Amador, and extends past South Main and goes all the way to University. There are some questions before, but this project stops at the intersection with University at the PC. There's already another project with the City of Las Cruces to study that intersection, and that'll be improved at that point. So this is just north of the intersection. Here is the project cost that was adjusted. We got with our consultant, modified our costs. So this is for the total of the planning and design of Appa Sale and Alameda corridor with those limits that I just explained. So the price dropped. It didn't drop in half based on the amount of items that could have been done concurrently with both projects. So now it's just being one roadway. It did drop, but it went from like 3.8 to $2.1 million. So that is a revised scope and cost. So I'm going to kind of go over some existing conditions of why this corridor was chosen. We do have some high crash intersections, which I'll get into here shortly. A lack of well-connected bicycle network. We do have some bike lanes, areas that don't. There's one significant sidewalk gap on Appa Sale Road on the south end. We do try and kind of follow the NACDO guidelines. That is kind of our policy now. So several of the sidewalks are below the 6-foot minimum. We do have some 4-foot, some 5-foot, but we even have some 3-foot in some areas. And the various City of Las Cruces planning documents we're going to try and meet. So I'll go over those here shortly also. The typical cross-section that's existing on South Alameda, you can see here is a 4-lane. There's two 10-foot travel lanes in each direction, a 2-foot curbing gutter, and a 5-foot sidewalk. So that's that section between Alameda and of Alameda between Amador and Main. Here is the typical cross-section that we see in Appa Sale, which has 4 12-foot lanes to each direction, and that suicide kind of 12-foot turning lane right in the middle. We do have 5-foot sidewalks in some areas, but in some areas we do have the gaps also. Here's some photos of those cross-sections that I just said. You can see on top is the Alameda, the 2 lanes in each direction, the sidewalk. No bicycle lanes, no nothing, no buffers, no additional rooms to allow for all different modes of transportation in this area. And you can see here in Appa Sale also, we do have those 2 lanes in each direction and that middle turning lane. You can see on the right there, I think that's the area that has a 3-foot sidewalk and about another 3-foot parkway in between the roadway and the sidewalk. So a lot of that would be corrected and make it more functional for a multimodal. The intersections along this corridor, the number 6, 13, and 14, those are the way they're rated here in the City of Las Cruces. Apasel and Bouts. Those are the crashes and the injuries that we have in that intersection, mainly in Apasel. Then, of course, Apasel and University along this corridor. So the planning background, where this all kind of derives from, is our Elevate Las Cruces comprehensive plan. As you can see here, that is kind of directs the city of Las Cruces to the way we want to go. Urban streets should be designed to provide a comfortable and aesthetically pleasing built environment that encourages bicyclists and pedestrian activity. Also, what we have is the Apasel Corridor Community Blueprint. This was a study that the city of Las Cruces had done prior to kind of redevelop the area. As we know now, it's like just a sea of asphalt everywhere, the parking lots on both sides. It's just asphalt everywhere. So it's go back to the urban heat island effect, so we can kind of address that, kind of get some shade trees and everything. But this is what that Apasel corridor studied, and we want to move forward to actually put this plan into fruition. The other one we have is our active transportation plan. This was a study throughout the city for that kind of mapped out our existing bicycle routes, our proposed, and what the city needs to move forward with to kind of make a more bicycle-friendly, pedestrian-friendly route travel map throughout the city. It also recognized a lot of sidewalk gaps that we have. So this is more of a pedestrian-focused, but you can see that arrow shows to the corridor of Apasel that we're looking at. And right now, what that does, just kind of based on the amount of traffic and the studies that had happened, the active transportation plan called out for this corridor to be further studied, which this grant allows us to do, and kind of actually study the traffic, the amount of traffic, and see what's the best combination of amenities we can do to make it more comfortable and safe corridor for all travelers. And then the Alameda Boulevard, based on the active transportation plan, it calls for bike lanes. With that, I'll stand for questions.
Does anyone have questions? Okay, thank you for that presentation.
Andreas from NWDOT. One question I have, what is the anticipated schedule for your study? How long do you think before the study results will be available?
So when this grant is hopefully received, we do have to go through the city's RFP process. And so that's kind of about 3-4 months right there. But I hope to have the planning done within a year and a half, and then get into the design at that point, which will give us enough, have us the design within the 3 years to be able to apply for the construction dollars at the next round of this TPF.
And Andreas Lenem with a follow-up question. The reason I'm asking is due to the reduced funds available this year. It's not what we anticipated. A 2+ million, an average TPF project over the last 3 years have been in the 1.2 million range. If you have the ability to split between a study phase and a design phase and spread that out, potentially could be beneficial. I don't know if that is an option for the city to consider.
Yes, sir. As you can see, the way we have broken down our project costs, it is broken down specifically. So if we kind of get a partial grant for this, then we can go back and say, okay, we're going to go up to preliminary design 30%, or we can just do the planning. So just kind of, this is what it's going to cost to get that project to there. But the way it's broken down, we can easily back and go up to, just depends on partial funding. So
that is good.
We don't want to cut ourselves short now, but we can easily go back and retract some of that.
Thank you very much. And yeah, it's good that partial funding would be acceptable or would be beneficial. That's good to know. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone else have questions? Okay, if
I
not,
still have 8 minutes, right? You give me 15.
thank you very much.
Madam Chair, next up we'll have Mr. Rod McGillivray for the town of Mesilla.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, committee members, Rod McGillivray with Town of Mesilla. So for the 2024 TPF application cycle, we have the Calle del Norte Phase 3. The town's been blessed enough to have 2 previous phases of the Calle del Norte Trail. Currently, the trail runs from the river levee. It connects to the La Llorona Trail all the way down to the Mesilla Lateral. I'll show you on the map on this next slide, but the basic purpose of this project is to tear the north half of the Mesilla Lateral down and push it back and reconstruct it to allow the Calle del Norte Trail to cross over the Mesilla Lateral. It's a really short, small project with a huge emphasis on safety. So top of your map would be the river levee. Bottom of your map, Avenida de Mesilla, and you can see in the center of this map is the Mesilla Lateral. So the trail, as I said, Phase 1 and Phase 2 come from the La Llorona Trail connection above the river levee and go all the way within like less than 100 feet of this Mesilla Lateral. Basically, it's really just a project to push the lateral back. So it serves as a continuation of the Calle del Norte Phase 2 and Phase 1, actually. But the modifications to the existing drainage structure that will allow us to put in a curb and gutter and asphalt pavement section between the lateral head wall and the edge of pavement. So this project's a huge safety project. We've discovered a tremendous use of this trail from when it connected to the river levee. And so when they get to this section, it's actually a pinch point, and people are actually forced into the highway to get around the Mesilla Lateral. There's only about 5 feet between the edge of pavement and the lateral currently. There isn't even enough room for a sidewalk in there currently. Project is shovel ready. We had included a portion of this or a similar design in our Phase 2 as a bid ad alternate, and we didn't have the funding to complete it. So this project's basically a shovel-ready project. We've got clearances all done. Everything, I think we'll have to probably dust them off. Easily done within 12 months, and a very inexpensive project at $163,262. So this is a cross section of our design. You can see that at the upper right-hand detail, you can see that the trail will basically just die at the end of the Mesilla Lateral. But basically, it's just a reconstruction of the north side of that lateral. Total project cost, $163,000, like I said. We're very comfortable with the amount of funding, this amount of funding, to be able to complete this phase. It's just a picture of the current Mesilla Lateral there. This is the section where I said it's about 5 feet from the edge of the pavement. So I think we have another picture showing this picture faces west, but this project hits several of the, almost all of the prioritization criteria. The only one it doesn't hit, it's not on the bridge list for the state bridge replacement program, but it hits planning, projects identified on both the local and regional planning documents. Project's ready, we can begin spending in 3 months. I'm very confident we could complete it in 12 months. The project's part of a previously funded TPF phase, and not listed in your criteria is safety. I think you guys need to take into consideration safety as an additional criteria. Like I said, this project has to be completed. If not with this funding, we'll find funding to complete it because we've got to get rid of the safety issue. With that, I'll stand for questions.
Any questions?
Madam Chair, I had just one for Mr. McGilvery. Are there plans to continue the future phase to go towards New Mexico 28, including the multi-use trail? I mean, once you get past the lateral?
So yes and no. This is the end of the trail, multi-use path. We don't have room, even if we pick the highway up and slide it over, we would not have a minimum of 8 feet to qualify as a multi-use path. So this is it. We have a huge desire to provide sidewalk connectivity to this path. But this is, unless EBID changes their heart and allows us to build on the laterals, ideally, it's perfect condition to continue it down both ways on the lateral. But no, we hope to get a sidewalk down to 28. We're putting a new sidewalk in at if you look above the center of the page where the Mesilla laterals, that road that comes in at an angle, the second road up, we're actually putting a sidewalk in there that'll tie to the, it won't have a crosswalk, but it'll provide connectivity back to Santiago and all the way back towards town and then through town, basically.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for that presentation.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, next up we have Mr. Mo Mobed from Doñana County.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, committee members. My name is Mo Mobed. I'm the county engineer. It's really an honor to present to you all the Desert Wind Corridor. As you can read, is that the project is determined. Again, the key word is really to determine. So, I mean, I know some Andres don't get excited. It's not right on the money yet. But we're trying to determine a route to connect the development occurring on the East Mesa. As you all know, the city of Las Cruces, that's the fastest part of the city, is growing, and improve the safety and also relieving congestion and improving, emergency response. This project has been a regional priority since 2015, and it was reviewed by Mesilla Valley Metropolitan Planning Organization after a series of state-level traffic studies. The Desert One is cited as a key connector, but both the county and also the city of Las Cruces, and also in the city of Las Cruces, they share in their master plan called 2040, One Vision, One Valley. This road was one of the priority in their plans. This is kind of overall picture. It's not exact route determined, but it's just showing you where the project starts, and it starts from Doñana interchange on I-25. As you all know, New Mexico DOT has a big projects coming up in a few years to improve the interchange on the Thorpe. So we are trying to get ready for all the improvement on the east side and also the department's improvement on the Thorpe and connect these 2 points together. So the purpose, again, emphasizing it, is really to connect these 2 major development corners of the city together and create improved safety and also relieve congestion. And I would say probably has the most economical impact on the region and also the city of Las Cruces. And as you can see, the project is going to connect bikers and hikers to the National Monument And also, you're trying to get away from the traffic being through the residential, like Desert Wind, as you see on the right picture showing all the mailboxes. So this is, again, we're looking at the 3 sections of this road that we are under the study on this request for funding is to really do the design and also the right-of-way survey and environmental study to make sure we are not meet all the NEPA requirements. And on the west side, the reason we broke it down, because on the west side, all the right-of-way we're looking at, and this is, again, preliminary. We're going to go through the public meetings, public involvement, and public hearing process. So the west side needs a lot of right-of-way, and this right-of-way is mostly vacant. And center portion of the project, that has to be determined which route we're going, on the Desert Wind or north or south of Desert Wind. That's one thing we're going to study under this new under this funding. And east, we have already met with the BLM, and they supporting this project, and we got a little support in our package. So that one is just has to go through the NEPA process to get approved by BLM. And it connects to the city limit at Red Hawk Golf Road, I'm sorry. This is kind of west segment, the aerial showing the west segment. Our proposal is either go south of the tank or north of the tank, but the south of the tank is not probably most feasible because we found out there is a landfill that we have to go through. And that's going to be very costly to take care of, to remediate the landfill. So we're probably going to go north of the water tanks. The east segment, as you can see, is primitive. There's just a dirt road and is on all of the east segment is located on a BLM property. And that connects you to the national monument. This is what we are proposing to do under the design, and it's going to get developed a lot more, whether it's going to be a separate facility for the bikes or just the same as what we're showing on the plans. So it's going to be 12-foot driving lanes, a 3-foot buffer between the bike lanes and the traffic, and a 5-foot bike lane. These are some of the routes we have looked at. That's why I said we have done a lot of study on it. We spent a lot of our time and money on this to come up with what's the best way to go and use the vacant land on the west side to come connected to the central portion of the project. That's why I say there are several pictures of this. You're going to see that we didn't take this project lightly. It's a very serious project. And how to take care of traffic, building cul-de-sacs. And these are just the proposals that's going to go through the process. And as you will see, we're connecting it originally at the La Reina, which lines up with the Desert Wind. And these are some of the lots that are going to be impacted. And we have already talked to some of the property owners on that area. And this is another proposal we are looking at. And another one. As you can see, there are we have almost 9 proposals that we have looked at to see what's the best way to connect. And this is going north of Desert Wind. As you will see, we're going way up there. And also, this is, again, just a proposal. So we have had a couple of areas with roundabouts because of the development on the south side, and maybe roundabout where it connects to the northern portion. This is the aerial that shows a little bit better picture of what we're looking at. As you can see on the west side, we have a couple of proposals. And on the central, we have a couple of proposals, Desert Wind, which goes through residential, and the right-of-way is really tight. It's only 50-foot right-of-way we have existing, but we're going to go through all residential area. And the green line on top is the one that we're going through the vacant land. And on the east portion, we're going through BLM, and those couple of routes we're looking at because the structure that needs for drainage We're trying to go with a least expensive drainage structure that we can put in it. And the total cost we estimated to do design, environmental study, right-of-way survey is about 1.2 million, and we're asking for 1.14 mil. And this is the aerial showing how it connects to Thorpe and the water tanks. Open for any questions.
Any questions from anyone? No? Okay, thank you, Mo.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, so the policy board is requesting that TAC rank these projects, basically 1, 2, and 3, because all projects now going before NMDOT need to be ranked or they will not accept them. So the policy board is looking for advice on how they should rank the projects at their next meeting.
At this time, I would like to entertain discussion on ranking the projects. And if you want to propose any particular ranking or support any particular project, if you would give your criteria for that recommendation, that would be appreciated. Does anyone want to start?
Madam Chair, I have a question for MPO staff. Have you done any evaluation on your own and made any evaluation and consideration of recommendations of the 3 projects?
Madam Chair, Mr. Weir, no, we have not. Our role is strictly curative in this. We're curating the projects, making sure that the applications are complete, and then we are presenting them to the committees and the policy board. And once we receive the ranking from the policy board, we'll submit it to the state. But we're not evaluating or providing a ranking of our own.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Andreas Lennon and NMDOT, I could give my idea of ranking based on the presentations tonight. The purpose of the TPF, Transportation Planning Funds, regional significance, connectivity, alternative routes. We had 3 presentations. One is previously funded. We're on phase 3 without the connection provided or shown to us today from the town of Mesilla. This project is currently incomplete. So there is definitely, they're ready to go. I think their proposal is truly, you can call it low-hanging fruit. It meets all the criteria. Our other 2 presentations are planning phases. Very, very impressive that both entities, one from a transportation relief to the city and the region, the other for the complete street aspect that we are trying to develop within our communities. The fact that one of the projects is partially designed and tries to verify the NEPA requirements and impacts to the community that was presented by the Doña County engineer versus the starting of the study and identifying the needs by the city of Las Cruces. My proposed ranking would be Town of Mesilla, Doña County, and following by the city of Las Cruces. Thank you.
Are there any other comments or suggestions?
Madam Chair, David Cedillo. Question, at any other presentations, were these projects previously ranked when those were presented previously?
Pardon me, Madam Chair, Mr. Cedillo, I missed part of the question.
Not a problem. The question was, have these projects been previously ranked at other presentations?
Madam Chair, Mr. Cedillo, yes, they have been. The Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee has ranked these previously, and those rankings will be included to the policy board in their packet when we send it out in the morning.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone have any other comments or support for the suggestion that has been made on ranking?
This is Renee Molina with Doña Ana County. Listening to what NMDOT Andres Lenan said, I really agree with him in regards to the whole ranking as he mentioned it. Town of Mesilla is very enticing because it is low-hanging fruit, and it actually completes their trail project to what they perceive as Phase 3, with indication that they're wanting to move forward with connectivity through sidewalks, possibly through a different TPF funding if it's available at a later date. In regards to regional significance and providing connectivity to two communities, one that's really growing at an almost exponential rate, definitely I would side that it would be Desert Wind Way, the county's project. Not to say that the city's project is not a valuable project, but from my perspective, the way I look at it, I would agree with Andreas Linan.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, we have a proposal to rank. Did you have something, Mr. Love?
I was just gonna provide my ranking
Okay, okay.
based on comments already previously stated by Mr. Lanan and Mr. Molina. I too also rank Town of Mesilla 1, Doña Ana County 2, and City of Las Cruces 3.
Okay, that's 3 in support of that ranking. At this time, I would like to request a motion to rank the projects as has been suggested.
Andreas Lenan request a motion to rank the 3 projects as proposed, with Town of Mesilla as Place 1, Doña Ana County Desert Wind Way as Place 2, and City of Las Cruces Complete Street proposals as Place 3.
Rod McGilvery, Town of Mesilla, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Madam Chair, it would probably be best to do a roll call vote on this.
To what, I'm sorry?
To do a roll call vote?
Okay, so at this time, I would like to request a roll call for the vote.
Yes, Madam Chair. Ma'am, I'm not sure what your name is, ma'am. Loretta. What's your last name?
Gallegos.
Ms. Gallegos, your vote?
Yes.
Mr. Zagorski?
Proxy for Ashley Curry for Las Cruces Public Schools, yes on the agreed ranking.
Mr. Hanaway?
Richard Hanway, proxy for Mike Bartholomew, Roadrunner Transit, I'll abstain.
Mr. McGilvray?
Yes.
Mr. Cedillo?
Yes.
Mr. Love?
Yes.
Mr. Lennon?
Yes.
Mr. Molina?
Yes.
Mr. Weir?
Not because of, they're not valuable projects, but I'm voting no.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
The motion passes, Madam Chair.
thank you. Okay, and we are now ready to move on to discussion items. 6.1, Public Participation Plan Update Presentation.
Madam Chair, point of order. We actually have proposed amendments to the MTP as one more action item.
I'm sorry. Okay, back to 5.3, Proposed Amendment to Mobility 2045 Declassification of Sartouche Lane.
And Madam Chair, Dominic Lloyd for MPO staff, I will be presenting this as well. Be just 1 second. So MPO staff has been basically approached with a request to amend the future thoroughfares plan. So the future thoroughfares plan, request was to remove Zertucci Lane from the future thoroughfares plan. It was classified as a collector on the future thoroughfares plan. City of Las Cruces and Doña Ana County have both concurred that it can be removed as a collector. Doña Ana County wants it to remain basically a major local. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. So this is the entire future thoroughfares plan. And then we're going to zoom in. Here's Zertucci Lane. Zertucci Lane is located in between Vista Middle School and where Columbia Elementary School used to be located. So it is along Elks Drive. So as you can see, it runs between the two properties, runs within the city and outside of the, back into the county. So Zertucci Lane has a couple of issues. There is only 16 feet of right-of-way, which we'll go ahead and see. We can see here. Here's where Columbia used to be. Here's Vista. This is Zertucci Lane that runs through here. So we're looking basically east here, back up the road, so we can see it's partially paved and then it is unpaved in areas. So looking down here, this gives us a pretty good view of what's going on. So we've got basically where this wall is to this fence is exactly 16 feet. What else we see here is a 10-foot easement for El Paso Electric, and it is only an easement. The current conditions are it is a private road, so it does have the signage for a private road. So that is also another consideration. And as I said, you can see here, this is what's basically, this is in that 10 feet here. As you can see, it's not very much, most of it is basically grass and scrub, as well as, and then this is back looking at Vista. So we have a 30-day public comment period open on this right now. BPAC did recommend that it be removed from the future thoroughfare map. We are requesting that TAC also make that recommendation. And I will now stand for any questions.
Any questions from the committee? Okay, I see none. At this time, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, so moved.
Do we have a second?
Second, Rene Molina.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Okay, so now we are ready for item 6, discussion items. 6.1, public participation plan update presentation.
Madam Chair, I will be handling this one as well. Don McGloy for MPO staff. So the public participation plan is basically right before the MTP kicks off, we have to update the public participation plan. It provides a guide to all public participation activities. And it also provides processes and tools for the process, to facilitate public participation. As I said, it has to be before every MTP. We are coming up on the beginning of the next MTP. And it does govern all the comment periods on all of MPO required work products. So those include the MTP, the TIP, which we had today, the work plan, the UPWP, public participation plan itself, as well as the annual listing of obligated projects. This year, we are proposing just minor changes for the PPP update. Basically, we'll be adding in mostly tools for virtual public engagement, as we found out in 2020, that we were not quite equipped to handle that in our public participation plan. So we are looking just to add those in. I will now, we will be bringing this back at your next meeting for action. I will now stand for any comments or questions.
Any comments or questions? Okay, I see none. Thank you for that presentation. So now we are on to item 7, committee and staff comments. 7.1, are there any updates from the city of Las Cruces?
Madam Chair, I have none today.
Thank you. Doña Ana County?
Rene Molina, no updates.
Thank you. Town of Mesilla?
Rod McGilvery, nothing to report.
Thank you. Las Cruces Public Schools.
Nothing new to report.
Thank you. Roadrunner Transit.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Richard Hanway for the record. Just wanted to update our electric buses, the 5 electric buses that we will be getting will be delivered the first week of June. They moved up their delivery schedule. The buses are complete, and we will be taking them to the fleet department for titling, hopefully to have our charging infrastructure up and running in July and doing training at the end of July. So it'll be good. Thank you.
That's great. Congratulations. Okay, so SCRTD project updates.
Nothing new to report.
Thank you. 7.2 NMDOT project updates.
Harold Love, New Mexico DOT. Got 3 projects to provide update on. The first one is I-25 mile marker 3 to 4 in Las Cruces. Our maintenance crews will be well, actually, they've already started. They're doing mastic seal repair, doing the right lane closure. The work is at night, and the work is from April 30th through May 4th. So tonight's the last night. They should be completing this work tonight. US 70 mile marker 143 to 161 on Las Cruces. Mountain State will be starting micro surfacing from the Rio Grande Bridge working east to Main Street. Contractor will continue with their permanent striping, also working from NASA Road to Rinconada Boulevard, and there'll be daily lane closures as well as night work. And the last one, US 70 mile marker 166 to 172, we have Highland Enterprises doing culvert cleaning. That's over there by the White Sand and Missile Range interchange. And so there'll be periodic lane closures and shoulder work. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you for that report. Next is 7.3 MPO staff updates.
Thank you, Madam Chair. MPO staff has 2 today. The first one is I need to announce to the TAC that in June of last year, the Las Cruces City Manager approached the MPO and requested a change in status for the MPO vis-a-vis the presence of MPO staff within the city administrative hierarchy. We've been through several months of work now, and the city manager, MPO, presented a draft MOA to the city manager with that separation, and the city manager has agreed with that draft in principle. Right now, we are waiting on response from the city manager's office about the fiscal agent fee that the city wishes to charge the MPO for their continued fiscal agent support. So right now, that's formally where we stand. Informally, I'm currently in the process of soliciting quotes to acquire independent liability insurance for the MPO, and also reaching out and making contact to secure independent legal counsel for the MPO. I'm also working with a local realtor on the process of finding new office space for the MPO. So those are kind of the major changes that are going to take place as far as part of this transition. As far as the operations of this committee are concerned, you're not really going to see any difference. Things will, from this point of view, more or less proceed as normal. Right now, I am anticipating that the transition will be accomplished around January 1st of 2024. I was originally thinking it would be done by October 1st to coincide with the start of the federal fiscal year, but we lost some time, and given the amount of things that have to be done, both logistically and procedurally, it's not going to be able to get done in 6 months. So now I'm targeting the first of the year. So does anybody have any questions about that before I move on to the second item?
I don't see any questions. I'm sorry to hear that, but please keep us updated on your progress.
The second item is that a rather melancholy one for us, but this is Dr. McAdams' last meeting here with the TAC. He is retiring at the end of this month, so I'm sure that all the members of the TAC will join us in wishing him the very best of luck in his next chapter.
Good luck to you.
And that concludes staff updates.
Thank you. Okay, we have public comment again. I don't see anyone new. And so we will move on to adjournment, and it is 4:55. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.